Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. All right. Now, the pressure to succeed, especially in the face of poverty, unemployment, economic hardship, and societal expectation is a significant factor in the rise of crime. Right? It's another episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways, and my name remains Osayua Mesale. Today, referencing the ritual crime in Nasarawa State, I'll be exploring the topic Rise in Ritual Crimes versus Pressure for Success. Now remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways, so be a part of the conversation every single day and add your voice to the discussion. Remember to also subscribe to our YouTube channels at Official Upgrade TV. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like, share, and invite your family and friends. Now, let them join in on the conversation. And when I open the phone lines, I would really love to hear your say, right, as I attempt to explore this topic. Let's ponder on this quote that I found for the day. It says, behind every great fortune is a great crime. And this was from Balzac. Could this be true? Is this why we're having some ridiculous rise in cases of ritual killings, especially? All right, so I'll delve into this conversation because that's my topic for today. But first, I'm off on a break. When I come back from that break, I want to let you in on the news that caught my interest for the day. Stay with me. All right, you are still watching Ways. So before I go into the topic or the news that I found for today, I just wanted to take out this time to celebrate someone very special to us as a team. For those that do not know, that watch the Primetime show, we actually have an all Gen Z breakfast team. So they are all young people doing this same show, but it's called Ways Breakfast. So the goal for that show is to ensure that we start to consciously raise new voices, young voices, youth, Gen Zs that can speak to the issues as it affects them. So today I was so honored to have been, of course, to have attended the graduation ceremony of one of our very own. She graduated, first of all, from the Educational Foundation's Bachelor's of Education in Guidance and Counseling with a first class honors. Her name is Omenka Oluchi Precious. I mean, this for me, I was really honored. That's the VC decorating her. I'm super proud of her. She's one of our very own. Oh, they did all the works. So I went all the way to Unilag today to celebrate Oluchi, and I'm super excited. Yes, that's the publication from the Lagos State, I think it's called Lagos State Sun newspaper or something. But congratulations again, Oluchi. These are the things that excites me, right? When I see young people doing great things. And, you know, I remember having a conversation with EIE, Ufoma, yesterday, and she was saying something around, we need to start to redefine what role models should look like. We need to redefine who we are celebrating, right? Oluchi is a young girl, and, you know, she just graduated. I mean, it's in this kind of economy, you know, tough times and all of that, she focused on education, and she came out with the first class. I couldn't have been anywhere else. So inside the traffic, I went, and we trekked. But we finally made it to the place because it was jammed with a lot of people. So congratulations again, Oluchi. I'm super proud of you. All right, so I'll quickly run through what I found in the news today. So 48,000 inmates are awaiting trials. And this was a report from Sahara Reporters. 48,000, that's a crazy number. That's really, really a very, very, is a lot. So, and, you know, if you listen to people that go to the prisons, right, especially most of the lawyers that do pro bonos, right, in the prisons, they will tell you that there are a lot of inmates in prison, you know, that, I mean, first of all, they are innocent of those crimes. Secondly, there's no even hope for them. And these people, and some of them are even young, and these people are already mixing up with hardened criminals, people that actually committed the crime. So it is actually a very sad thing to find that you have 48,000 inmates awaiting trials, right? Awaiting trials. So right now, the prisons are overcrowded. This is a serious issue, and I think the government should really, you know, just try to pay attention to what needs to be prioritized. I don't think anybody deserves this. At least let them, everybody has a chance for fair hearing, right? Why don't we start to decongest our prisons? The people that actually deserve to be there, let them stay there. For those that, you know, don't deserve to be there, please, let's find a way to speed up this process of, you know, these issues around awaiting trials. Some people have been there 4 years, 5 years, and they're still awaiting trial. It makes no sense to me. So I thought, you know, this was an important story to bring to the fore today. Then also, another very interesting story. So according to the public relations officer of the Nigerian police force, that is Olumuyiwa Adejobi, he has revealed that supervisory officers will be held responsible and face sanctions for unprofessional conduct of their subordinates. Now, according to this report, right, there are frustrations over policemen, their misconduct and unexplained search of phones of young men, right? So he says that they want to have at least a scapegoat, you know, that is searching phones on the road or without being an exhibit is not. And he said that this is not this is not allowed, and it's also an unprofessional conduct. So right now, their supervisors will be held accountable for their own actions. So it means that everybody now has to really, really sit up and be conscious, right? So you, as a supervisor, you can't just send anybody out on the roads. But I just wanted to quickly add that if you drive on Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, I mean, last night, literally, I was driving home and I saw it. Policemen would always go into the small buses. I think they call it Korokwe or something. They go there. Once a guy is driving a Mercedes-Benz, they stop them on the road. They search them. They do all sorts of things, harass them, do all. So these things, yes, you're looking for a scapegoat, but the scapegoat is not hard to find. And that's why some people are saying on X that, why don't you kind of like start to encourage more people to have all these dash cams, body cams, and all of those things, so that when we send you those videos, just arrest them. You don't have to wait and all of that. But they said they have a that they have a game plan. According to Nigerian Police Force, they have a game plan to curb it. So let us be on the lookout. So I just thought it was important to mention this. So you that you're being harassed, or if you know that you fit into their profile, because in fairness, right, I was talking to my son the other day. I said, this is why I try to avoid hairstyles and all of those things, right? Because certain kinds of hairstyles, certain kinds of look already puts you in a position where you'll be profiled by these policemen. So, yeah, I'm hoping that, this will curb it. I'm hoping this will curb it. All right, so I'll go on a short break now. When I come back from the break, I really want to delve into ritual killings, right? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. Thanks for staying with me. Now, ritual killings have been a recurring issue in Nigeria, often fueled by socio-economic pressures, spiritual beliefs, and the quest for wealth or power. While exact statistics are difficult to confirm due to underreporting, hundreds of cases have been reported in local and international media between 2019 and 2024. These cases often involve individuals seeking money rituals. Now, a practice rooted in superstitions that involves using human body parts for spiritual rituals, allegedly to gain wealth or fame. Some of the notable cases, right, for ritual killings, I'll start in 2022. There was a case of 4 young men in Ogun State who were arrested for killing a girl and using her body parts for money rituals. In 2021, right, a self-acclaimed herbalist in Lagos was arrested with human remains used in ritual. In 2023, in Edo State, a gang was apprehended for abducting and killing women for ritual purposes. Now, 2024, there was a varsity student in Anambra State that reportedly confessed to killing his friend for ritual purposes. Now, let me say that the reason we're having this conversation, or I brought this conversation to the table today for us to be able to dissect and make sense of it, is the recent event that is just, that started brewing in the news. And this was a case for, if they can, I think the video is up. Maybe we can just quickly watch that. They are leaving the head behind. No,
No, my children, my children. How much children now? No. What is her name? Adaju. Which tribe is she? Adaju. Well, for how long have you been together? Like a year. Like a year. I don't know when. This woman, she was calling the number was not going. My number is my voice. It's network, just network. She don't
So, for those that haven't seen this video, right, Timileyin Ajayi is the man that is on the floor. And he's a gospel artist, right? And they said, you know, he was found around the church in Ozoro, in a community bordering the FCT. He was found carrying a suspicious bag. And in that bag, by the time they confronted him, he actually threw the bag into the river. And by the time that bag was gotten, they then found now, what's it called? The beheaded young lady, Eliojo Salome. She's a core member. And when he was also further probed, he said no, that he was his girlfriend. They had several arguments, and he then kind of, you know, used a knife and all of that, and then cut off her head, and the remaining part of her body is in his house. Now, for context, right, because I was trying to understand what is going on when it comes to ritual killings and all of that. For context, you know, the reports that, you know, I found is that about 150 case incidences of ritual killings, you know, and this is because there is a lot of underreporting that is happening. So a lot of cases actually go underreported, right, or unreported. So between January of 2018 to December 2021, we've had over 150 cases of ritual killings, and the regions are Niger Delta, Imo State, Cross River, and again, the targets for ritual killings are usually women and young girls, right? Usually women and young girls are their main targets. Now, the reason I decided that we should have this conversation is there is a pressure that comes when it comes to success, right? The pressure to succeed, especially in the face of poverty, unemployment, societal expectations. It's a significant factor in these, you know, that really brings about all of these incidents. And if I were to break it down, I would say here's how it plays that role. So economic hardship, for instance, right? Many individuals face financial instability. They lack access to opportunities, right? Pushing them, of course, to seek unconventional methods for success. Now, this is not to justify the actions, but you see, there's a collective, right? It's when the pressure keeps going, it's sometimes I always even say to myself that I really do not know how I am going to respond to certain kinds of pressure. So the prayer I always pray is that, God, may I never have those pressure that would push me to become who I am not. Because the truth is the pressures are there. And right, so people now are just looking for any means. Because take, for instance, this gospel artist. He's a gospel artist. Maybe he's trying to blow, and the blowing is not coming. So he's just deciding, you know what? And you might be shocked. If we really dig deep into this incident, you might just be shocked. You might just be shocked that this guy actually has maybe someone that must have told him, like a mentor, that must have told him that, Oga, we are all doing this. You understand? We're all doing this. So if you do it, it's not going to be different. Once you succeed, come and see. They will give you track record. Because if you remember, there was a podcast that Kunle Remy had gone on, and he was talking about how he was told to bend over to be able to succeed in the media industry. The media industry is the same thing. So they are gatekeepers in every industry. They are gatekeepers in every. It is possible. So yes, there's an incident that has happened, but I want us to look beyond that incident to ask why. Why will a gospel artist that is supposed to believe in God, that understands that, these are spiritual things. If God gives you a song, God will also give you that popularity that comes with a song. But he then chose to go through this part of, the unconventional method for success. So those are the things you should actually start to ask. Because for me, when I see things like this, I don't just jump into conclusion. My brain keeps going round and round, and I'm asking why. Because if we're able to start to ask, why do we have these things happening? Then maybe for some, by chance, we might eventually find a solution. Now, in countries like Nigeria, where, of course, unemployment rates are high, some believe that rituals or spiritual shortcuts can bring instant wealth. I'm not sure why this belief has held such a strong stand for decades. Because again, if you look at it, our films, I remember growing up to watching ritual films, how they will go, they will now put somebody inside the cupboard, they will make some enchantment and the thing will come out, money will be coming out of the mouth. These were films we grew up with. Little wonder the government, I think it was last year that the government said they had to put a ban, to those kinds of films, right? Because again, those are the things that shapes the mind, right? So we've talked about, that's the first one, the economic hardship. So if we then move on to certain other factors, societal expectation. Now this is huge, right? Because success is often equated with material wealth. And societal pressure, to appear successful and lead individuals to desperate measures. There's a song. We all know that song. Say, if you don't get money. I literally hate that song. Because how would you say that? So it means that you've told the person you do not qualify to even speak with me if you do not have material possessions. That is the song. But that is what societal pressure, right? That is what societal pressure brings to people. Gospel artists, for instance, may feel this immense pressure to maintain this public image that I am blessed by God, the image of prosperity, because again, some pastors are preaching that if you're not prosperous, it means that you're not serving God. It means that you have not gotten it right with God. It means that you have to check your faith, right? Because that image of prosperity, it gives them that sense of, yes, I am a child of God. And it also gives them the capacity to be able to attract more followers, or maintain certain kinds of relevance. Because look at it. Go to our churches, testimonies that they give in churches. They tell you, I just woke up and all of a sudden wanting so many things. The Lord just gave me a song. The song came from my spirit. The song came from my spirit, and when I woke up and I sang that song, and now you see the same gospel artists going all over the world, touring and singing that song. So that might have been a pressure that would have, been, because I like I said, right, the reason Ways was established was to question certain things. It's not just for us to just say, oh, this is happening and we lament. No, let's dig deeper. Let's ask, what is the issue? Why is this happening? So if we move past societal pressure, there's also the cultural and superstitious beliefs. This thing is very real, because I said it. I grew up watching some kinds of interesting movies. So these are deep-rooted beliefs in supernatural forces and the efficacy of rituals. And this can also push individuals into engaging in acts like human sacrifices and all of these things. There is an actor in Nigeria. It's public knowledge. Kanayo, Kanayo. To the point that now he has owned that character, and a lot of skit makers even use him, for those kind of skits about sacrifice, and all of that. You have to make a sacrifice. But those were the films that I grew up with, watching those kind of films. And they now showed them how being wretched, being poor and everything, and all of a sudden, they do some kind of spiritual sacrifices and whatever, and they are now wealthy. Some of them sacrifice their children. Some of them sacrifice the capacity for them to bear children. Some of them sacrifice their limbs. Some of them sacrifice all sorts of things. We watched all kinds of movies growing up. So these are deep-rooted beliefs in that supernatural forces, right? Also, this there are also individuals that are influenced by herbalists. You know, these people, there are some people that will tell you that, okay, you want to do something, bring the person's name, write it, I'll pray, I'll do it. Like literally, these are cases, true cases where individuals are influenced by supernaturalists and herbalists who promise wealth, you know, or fame through rituals. I've seen different people tell you to bring water, bring a pen, bring this, bring some items, you know, and we'll pray over it. Then when you go to your business, pour the water there. When you go to your, go and bury something there. You know, I mean, literally, I saw someone at a former, because I used to run a cosmetic business, right? And that cosmetic business had, what's it called? It was in a plaza, so they had multiple stores and all of that. There was a particular woman in that plaza. She used to sell children's clothes and clothing and all of that. That woman, literally, some Saturdays or Sundays, when you go to the plaza, you would see her bring some people in garments and all of that, and they will go into the place. They would literally dig up the floor of her store and bury things there. It was like, and she was doing it openly. So it's her belief. So these are deep-rooted beliefs that people believe that, yes, these things can actually attract sales to them. It can attract wealth to them. It can attract fame to them, right? And, of course, there's competition and fame, right? So after all of these deep beliefs, what's it called? The societal pressure and all of that, there's also this part of competition and fame. So in competitive industries, especially like the media industry, right, individuals might feel driven to extreme actions to outshine their peers, you know, or achieve rapid success, right? So for instance, now, I'm in the media space. Literally, right, sometimes when you go on social media and you see what is happening on social media, you keep on asking, why have I not blown? You understand? Why do this person have 10 million views and I have only 100 views? These are real pressures. It does happen, right? So you have to be so comfortable. You have to be there to say, you know what, guys, this is you. This is your journey. My journey is different, right? You have to be very intentional. Because the pressure, especially within this media industry, like literally somebody just slept, overnight they woke up and they became a celebrity overnight. These are the real things that happens. So you don't know what has happened. I remember a friend of mine said, Uwa, everybody has something that they pray to at night. So you decide that you want to be serving God, make sure that at night you are kneeling down and praying to your God. And that's the reality. Because in this world, especially with the social media and everything, where you just see people just becoming sensations, they're now making a lot of money, they're calling there for different events, getting VVIP tickets to different events, being called by governors, celebrities, dignitaries, the 1% of the 1%, the pressure will get to you when you're in the media industry. Why am I not being called to big stages, for instance, like the gospel artists? Why am I not being called to big stages to perform and all of that? These are real pressures, right? And they're extreme. So the pressures also then brings you to that point, if you are not confident in yourself, to now start to take extreme measures to make sure I will make it at all costs. So you've heard the phrase, fake it till you make it. Where do you think it came from? It came from social media. All right, so I'll go on a break now. When I come back from that break, I want to make a few recommendations, but before I do so, I'd also like to open our phone lines. If you love to be a part of the conversation, please, I'll also check YouTube in case you're dropping your messages and all of that, or anywhere else, social media platforms and everywhere. Please send a message. What do you think is the root cause of what's it called? The pressures that we are having this rise in ritual killings, and how do you think we can curb it? All right, I'll see you after the break. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, I keep wondering, what will make someone commit a crime as grave as murder, all for the hope that, by some ritual, they'll find fortune, or success. Why, what has led us to this point where people just get to that point and they feel like, okay, this is the only way I can succeed, right? So please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. The phone lines are also now open. Please call on 07025007749 and 07014242420. Those are the numbers that you can call. Let's also hear what you have to say. It's interesting. Everybody's saying congratulations to Oluchi on YouTube. Yeah, our baby girl. All right, so before I go into that conversation around the recommendations I want to have to curb ritual crimes, I genuinely feel that if we take us back to the quote for today, it got me thinking very deeply. If they can pull out that quote for the day, it got me really, to think deeply. It says, behind every great fortune is a great crime. Now, these are conspiracies that I've heard over the years. The conspiracy, for instance, has said, will tell you that a lot of great people that made their wealth started off, for instance, somewhat in a not so clean format. So what they do is, some of them probably did drugs, like the old money and all of those things. Some of them did drugs, some of them did whatever. They did crime and fraud and all of that. And then after a while, when they made a lot of money, then there's something they call the cleanup, right? They clean up the money. So when I saw that quote from was it Balzac? What do they call his name? Yeah, Balzac. I'm wondering, is this true? Do you believe this quote is true? I choose not to believe so. I believe that there are genuine people that have made their money, right, genuinely, without having to do any of all of these things. I believe that people have genuinely made money without having to do all of these things. But sadly, the impression that has been imprinted in the minds of a lot of people is that you can't really succeed, financially until you do certain kinds of, things. So how do we curb ritual killings? How do we bring down this crime rate? How do we start to actively fight these crimes? One of the recommendations that I have would be public education. Now, we must have awareness programs, raising awareness about the dangers and the consequences of some of these crimes like ritual killings can go a long way in curbing these crimes and, educating the young people. And this education has to start from our homes, right? Our National Orientation Agency also really must work hard to amplify the message. Because I don't even understand, when we were growing up, there were certain kinds of jingles you would hear over the radio that would tell you about certain things that, it just keeps you in check. We don't have any of all of those things anymore. So the education must start from our homes. The national orientation agencies can also help to amplify some of the dangers of these kinds of messagings that we hear about crimes and all of that. Religious and educational institutions, we have a major role to play. Religion. See, I try to avoid religious conversations, but the truth is that we cannot avoid it. Because if you look at how churches operate, right now, a lot of churches are doing fasting and prayers. So meaning that the churches, right, they have 100% rented a space in the minds of millions of people for a very long time. So apart from the regular services of churches, which is just Sundays and probably some churches Wednesdays, right? This period, especially this season, where a lot of churches are doing, some of them are doing 21 days fasting, some of them are doing 100 days fasting and all of that. So it means that they have permanently rented a space in the minds of these people. So it means that your millions of followers are listening to you every single day. So if you wield that much power over people, then there's a huge obligation on you as a religious body to then inform and educate people on the right values, right? Because a lot of churches, a lot of religious homes do not do their job. And that's why it is okay for somebody to go and perform rituals and then bring tithes to church or bring offering to church to give the pastors. They don't question anything, right? Or they commit fraud and then bring the returns to church. Recently, we heard of a case of one of the pastors in one of the big churches in Lagos that got arrested and was taken to Abuja, based off of a fraudulent case of something around the real estate market. A fraudulent case where his church member collected money from people and did not deliver those jobs. And guess what happened? They then eventually found that the highest remittance or the highest place where this said church member was pushing funds to was the church. So that was why they picked the pastor. So even you as a pastor, when somebody brings money to you, you need to ask, where is it coming from? So there is a lot of work that can be done when it comes to education. And that education can also happen both in educational institutions and religious institutions. They have major roles to play. Finally, the biggest one of them all is the media. It's us, right? Media has a huge role to play. So there was a quote that I found from Chris Jermaine that says that most people want to so desperately, or they want so desperately to be individuals, yet are so easily shaped by the media. So I want to be myself, right? I want to be myself. But guess what? The biggest influence that shapes who I eventually become is the media. So, and remember what I said when I started off this conversation about the movies that we watched. Media, movies, music, right? Movies, music, skits, all these things are powerful tools. Audiovisual content, they are so powerful, right? And we don't even give them the credit that they deserve because all of this content, they are so powerful. It imprints on, I can tell you movies that I watched when I was maybe 7, 6, I still have them imprinted in my head. That's how powerful pictures are. That's how powerful movies, music are. When you sing a song, say if you don't get money, hide your face. Or like everything is just about money, it's about drugs, about women, it's about so many things. And these are the kind of music we keep on filtering into our system. And because we are spirit beings, some of these things actually filter and they linger, they stay. So these are powerful recommendations that I really, really would hope, that we can actually start to intentionally, implement. Right. So after, of course, the first recommendation, of course, which is public education, I'll move on to my second recommendation. But before I do so, let me take a comment on YouTube. It says, Everyone that has a platform has the responsibility to confront and correct these wrong ideas about wealth. Wow, about wealth in this generation. Okay. And that's the truth. And that's why I say media is so powerful. It's so in fact, the power that media had when it was just traditional media was here. Now that we have social media, right? The influence and the power has gotten to like 10x more, 100x more, 1000x more. You have 3 people following you, you're already influencing 3 minds. You have 10 people following you, you're already influencing 10 minds. You have 1,000 people following you, it means 1,000 people would see your content. So what are you putting out there? And let me tell you, I think I was mentioning it at a conversation I was having with some set of people that last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, I just intentionally started something on my WhatsApp status, right? I would wake up, the first thing I would do when I wake up every morning, I would write grateful, right? So it evolved as the years go. So this year is Grateful Billionaire because, yes, that's my target, you know. But I intentionally put up a gratitude post on my WhatsApp status every single morning when I wake up. So that's the first thing you see on my WhatsApp status. So once you see that, you know that I have woken up, right? I didn't notice. So I started it 2 years ago. I noticed that last year, a few of the people that are on my contact list started putting, I am grateful, gratitude, different things. Mine is just grateful with 2 flowers and all of that. I started noticing that tiny action that I just decided that no matter what is happening, I'm going to stick to being grateful. It influenced at least 10 people. So I moved it last year to my Instagram. So there's something on Instagram where you leave a note every morning. I now started putting the same note I put on my WhatsApp status on my Instagram note. I also observed the same thing. At least 2 or 3 people. I don't really check people's statuses, but you will see it, just there. You will see people started doing the same thing. That's how powerful the media is. When people are able to see it, they can relate with it. So what are we doing differently? Right? I'll re-emphasize again. Ways. This is why Ways was birthed. Ways was not just birthed for us to look pretty on camera and look good. No. There are real issues that need to be addressed. And that's why we're addressing it. So I haven't talked about, what's it called, public education, strict laws enforcement. Strict law enforcement. This is very important. Let there be consequences for people's actions. So ensuring that perpetrators are brought to justice. That would deter future crimes. Now, this is actually very prevalent here in Nigeria, where a lot of criminals are walking free, while people that are not, criminals are just roaming. People that are not criminals are the ones that are still away. Remember I said 48,000 people are awaiting trials. Yeah. So that is what is happening in Nigeria. So we need to understand that strict law enforcement can really help to curb some of this crime. So ensuring perpetrators are brought to justice to deter future crimes. Now, the more we continue to subvert justice, the farther away we are from a crime-free world. I remember that I was having a conversation with Dele Farotimi where he's talking about there's no justice in Nigeria. And that's, see, we might want to be hopeful that, yes, things are looking up. But the truth is, first of all, for us to be able to move forward, we must be willing to look ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves the truth. To say, this is where we are. Like literally confront our demons. So if we are operating in a system where I've heard somebody say several times that if you want to steal in Nigeria, steal very big. Make sure that you're stealing big money, because by the time you're done settling all the people in the authorities that are supposed to be the ones to convict you of your crime and all of that, you should have enough money, that would move you forward. That's what people say. They say this in passing, they say it in jokes, they say it in all of that, but, is that our reality? Unfortunately, to some extent, it's our reality. So the more we continue to subvert justice in this country, the farther away we are from a crime-free world. We need to be very intentional. This morning I was coming to the office, and I got to a particular junction on Lekki Ekpe Expressway. I think that was the Circle Mall, former Circle Mall. And some of these young boys that stand on the road, the guy just came, and the one that have the wiper stuff, the windshield cleaners, right? He came by my window because I'm driving myself for now, and he now was trying to clean off the window, and because I did not pay any attention to that, he now started, and I kid you not, and I'm not exaggerating, for good 3 minutes, he used that windshield cleaner and was banging on my window. I just kept a very stern look, and I kept on looking forward. I didn't turn, I didn't flinch. But guess what? When I say that this population that is unaddressed, unengaged, and all of that is a ticking time bomb, we're joking in this country. The more we continue to have these young people idle, not doing anything, they have access to free, cheap drugs, they have access to a lot of things, the more we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder as a country. So I was looking at that, and I said to myself, for how long will we continue this? There is supposed to be a law that is against street, all this kind of, streets, what do they call them? Banning, just streets, just wandering around and all of that. At some point, the Lagos State government came and packed all of them. But they are back on the street. So it means that someone that is supposed to be doing their job, right? Someone in the law enforcement agency that's supposed to be doing that has turned a blind eye. So if we do not intentionally, right, ensure that law is enforced, rule of law is enforced, then we're not ready for a crime-free world. I'll move on to my third point. It says, or my third recommendation rather, mental health support. Now, you must be intentional about our country providing counseling for individuals that are, especially they're struggling with societal pressures. Now, I told you earlier on that in the media, see, every other industry is fine. You see, this is our media that, where we did, so I have to speak pidgin English. This media that we're in, we need to be very clear that the pressure is real. The pressure is very real. Like you do a song, for instance, and it's a hit song. You're already pressured that, are you sure that the second song you're going to produce will be good? And that's why you see a lot of people within this industry, they do a lot of drugs. They do a lot of, they take a lot of substances, right? There's substance abuse going on and all of that. These are all real pressures, right? So we have to intentionally start to find opportunities for support, especially for their sanity. So mental health support, so providing counseling for individuals struggling with societal pressure. And of course, they are also struggling with the pressures of failure. Hey, that is real pressure. Now, my first son, when he was I think he was in year 5, this was someone that is used to, so he's never come second in class. He's always first, and all of that. He has never come second in class. So every year, he's always collecting all the awards, blah, 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 blah. So that particular term in year 5, I can't forget it, because for me, that was a great opportunity for me. I think something happened, right? He kind of like dropped the ball, and he came second. Do you know what my greatest joy was? I was so happy. Imagine a parent. This is not me now fighting, oh, you're failing. No, it's that he's succeeding. And I'm worried that what if tomorrow he's not able to attain that level of success? What then happens? So I was literally watching to see how he was going to respond to coming second for the first time in his life. And the next thing he said, Mommy, I'm excited. He said, at least it was my friend, but he's not going to get it again next term. I was so happy. Even though that second position was questionable, but I didn't fight it. Literally, he was not supposed to come in second, but I was happy that it happened. Because for me, that was an opportunity to study how emotionally balanced he was, how stable he was, how he understood that failure is also part of life. Because failure is part of life. right? So when that thing happened, I was really happy. I was excited. And I said to myself, thank God. Because for the first time, he understood that, okay, it is okay, but you know what? I know what to do to bounce back. Because that's how it's supposed to be. So those are the kind of support we need. Because failure is inevitable. We all fail. I've failed several times. I'm still standing, right? I mean, starting ways all over again and all of that. You just need to pick yourself up. You can't keep dwelling and say, oh, I failed and now, So that's why, for those that do not have the emotional capacity, right, you then need to be intentional about supporting them, right? So in staying on the mental health support, we now need to redefine success. We need to redefine success. We need to be intentional about celebrating little wins. It's not all the big things that we celebrate. Okay, somebody, I posted a video on social media. One person liked it. Thank you. You're excited. You don't have to. See, it is when you start to learn to celebrate your little wins that more will be added to you. There's a parable in the Bible, right? The person that was given one seed or whatever that went and ran with it, so what happened eventually? It was given much more, right? Or the person that multiplied the seed was given much more. The one that buried it, what happened? You say, no, you don't deserve anything. So when you are doing anything, no matter how little your project is, your little wins, you must learn to celebrate them. Because you need to redefine success for yourself. And you are the one that should define what success means to you. The society should not define success for you. Because these are the things that will push you as a human being to say you want to go into things like ritual. How does that even make sense? So we need to be very intentional, redefine what success means to you, right? You must learn how to, celebrate your little wins. And that will help you manage all the pressures. So I'll say my final points, right, for my final recommendation. So economic opportunities. Now, this is big for us. Economic opportunities, creating jobs, reducing unemployment, right, to lessen the temptations of engaging in criminal activities, for wealth. It was Jacob Zuma that said that criminality is always a result of poverty. That was a quote from Jacob Zuma. He said criminality is always a result of poverty. So it's really simple. If you really want to curb crime, empowerment has to be at the center. It must be the top priority for us as a nation, as a government. Empowerment has to be. So part of what I'm excited about, we partnered, the Delta State government the Delta State governor actually partnered with my company, Parallax Limited. And what we're trying to do is to empower youth in Delta State, to give them media entrepreneurship skills that they can start to become self-sufficient. Those are the kinds of empowerment we're looking for. Stop giving people money. Stop handing them fish. Empower them. So we want to go and teach them digital media skills, because these are the skills that will be relevant in the future. Every business right now is putting they're intentionally putting media as part of their business, because if you do not project your business, if you not sell your market, nobody will sell it for you. So most people are becoming very conscious of their media presence online. So it means that there are now opportunities for media content creators to make money. So that is what we presented to the Delta State governor, and he bought that idea, he bought that vision. And we're going to be training thousands of youth in Delta State. So why don't we have more, more state governments take on this initiative? Empower your youth, because if they are empowered, there will not be any need for them to be thinking of crime. If somebody is earning a decent income, it might not be a lot, right? That person, to some extent, would have some level of sanity and will not feel pressured, to then go into crime. See Dubai, for instance. When I saw some of the videos, I said, people should just adopt me as your daughter. You want to marry, you don't have money, they will give you money to marry. You don't have money, they will give you money to buy the house. You born a child, you don't have the money, they will help you pay. Like literally, it is citizens' well-being, right? Unfortunately, I'm having so much fun, I forgot. I forgot. So let me quickly take some comments. Oh, wow. Says great conversations on Sam C. Thank you. Charlene Edwards says, Happy New Year. Happy to see the show is back. Thank you so much. It says, very important and necessary conversation. This was on YouTube. Thank you so much for your comments. So let me take some WhatsApp messages. I believe, WhatsApp messages. It says, The wrong examples we have today in the society, social media are so overwhelming that the right examples are hardly seen. Oh, wow. What you see over time enters the subconscious, which many now believe it's normal, sadly, and execute it with all their heart and might. Wow. And that's just the absolute truth, right? There's power in our subconscious. You see this subliminal messaging that we pass through our music, through our songs, and all of those things. These things are very powerful tools. So I don't know if you're a parent out there, please be intentional about the kinds of things that filters into the minds of your words, right? Be very intentional. I don't joke. Forget anything you see about Uwa anywhere. Go and ask my children. I'm very intentional about it. I was very intentional about it. So we have to be very intentional. All right, so thank you so much. They said I'm talking too much, so I have to run. So before I go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's an official upgrade. You can interact with us further. Drop your comment, and most importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Remember to like, share, invite families and friends. See, your ways has changed. It's going to be only Uwa. Sometimes I'll bring in guests, sometimes it's just me. Please just enjoy the show and share the links. Now, if you missed my quote for the day, here it is again. Very scary quote. It says, behind every great fortune is a great crime. I choose not to believe this quote, but you know what? It is what it is. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.